Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for October 9th, 2013. It's currently 8:40 a.m. and we are dealing with a rather stormy end to this coming week. But first we have to get through Wednesday, which is starting off rather cloudy as clouds start to increase throughout the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area because of a low pressure system that's developing off the southeast coast. We have winds from the northeast anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour over the interior and about 10 to 15 miles per hour along the coast. This is going to increase throughout the day today and especially increase tonight as our storm starts to get itself together. Now you can clearly see the difference in temperatures over the region with mid 40s over the northern interior, upper 40s to lower 50s just to the north of New York City and Philadelphia, and mid 50s to upper 50s, even a few lower 60s along the coast here. We're talking about a 10-degree temperature gradient from, let's say, northeastern Pennsylvania to southeastern Pennsylvania, and that gradient is basically set up throughout the entire Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. And the reason why is because we're seeing a clash between a polar maritime air mass that is locking in over New England and a tropical air mass that is setting up off of the coast. And that, of course, leads to the potential for some very heavy rainfall and rather raw weather conditions moving forward. Now, for today, we'll have clouds increasing throughout the day, temperatures rising into the mid to upper 60s for highs, possibly a few lower 70s in your urban areas, like around 70, 71 degrees in Newark, Philadelphia, but most locations I think will remain in the mid to upper 60s with this overcast sky and northeasterly wind. You can clearly see what's setting up here on this surface map. Here's our high pressure system, or rather strong high pressure system, and here's our developing low pressure system off of the southern mid-Atlantic coast, or really North Carolina coast here. This low pressure system is going to start to intensify, and see these lines of pressure, they're going to start to pack. And what that basically means is that we're going to get a stronger pressure gradient, and that's going to drive a northeasterly wind into the New Jersey coast today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that means there's going to be a significant threat for minor to moderate coastal flooding, especially along the New Jersey coast, and a persistent wave of rainfall coming in from the Atlantic and moving into the northern mid-Atlantic over the next several days. Now, we could already see on the radar that area of rainfall developing very nicely over portions of Virginia and North Carolina. And that rainfall is starting to approach the Delmarva Peninsula and Cape May, New Jersey. Now, my forecast is basically that clouds are going to continue to increase. Look for showers to start to invade southern New Jersey late this afternoon into the early evening rush hour. And those showers will spread throughout the entire Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area tonight. But the heaviest rain will hold off until tomorrow. This is more of an appetizer, if anything, right here for this evening and tonight. On the infrared satellite picture, you can clearly see our low pressure system starting to organize and starting to jump up towards North Carolina. And this low pressure system will basically sit and spin over the coastal waters of New Jersey and Delaware over the next several days while this high pressure system locks in. So these two are going to continue to battle each other, and we're going to be under the, negative end of this battle with periods of rain, strong winds, coastal flooding, and temperatures aren't going to be moving all that much, looking at lower to mid 60s, and that might be generous. In areas where you're going to see constant rainfall, you might be lucky to break 60 degrees under this type of weather pattern as that cool marine air mass builds into much of the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. In fact, New York City most likely is going to remain much cooler than, let's say, northeastern Pennsylvania, where I wouldn't be surprised if New York City stays around 59, 60 degrees for several days for highs under the influence of this storm. On the water vapor satellite picture, you can clearly see our upper level low starting to cut off, intensify, start to draw moisture in from the Atlantic Ocean. Significant lifting starting to develop over much of the mid-Atlantic. And as a result, we're seeing these clouds start to become colder as lifting becomes stronger over the mid-Atlantic. And that, of course, means periods of moderate to heavy rainfall. So the question is, one, how long is this going to last? And two, how much rain can we expect? Well, because we're having strong blocking over the northern Atlantic out here in the Canadian Maritimes, this low pressure system is just going to sit and spin off of the mid-Atlantic coast for the next several days. And we're talking about periods of rain starting tonight and continuing on all the way through Sunday. The heaviest rain I think is going to be tomorrow afternoon through Friday morning, but you're going to get these constant waves of showers moving into the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area on Saturday and Sunday as well. That northeasterly wind is going to remain in place throughout the entire forecast period, which means that you're going to see minor to moderate coastal flooding, especially right along the New Jersey coast. I would not be surprised to see high tides go 1 to 4 feet above what's normal for this time of year. So again, if you're right along the coast, especially with the coastline already being severely hampered from previous storms like Sandy, be prepared for some coastal flooding and prepare accordingly. Also, the heavy rainfall isn't going to help matters either, so it might overwhelm a lot of the sewers, especially along the coast and in New York City and Philadelphia. So watch out also for localized flash flooding and very poor driving conditions over the next several days. As far as how much rainfall, this is the forecast from the HPC. Yes, they're still running even with the government shutdown. And the forecast here is basically 1 to 3 inches with locally higher amounts up to 4 inches possible. Now notice they're focusing a great deal along the coast, which is reasonable considering this is where the best lifting will be located with this event. However, if you're in northeastern Pennsylvania, if you're in northwestern New Jersey, do not let your guard down. Yes, the forecast suggests the heaviest rainfall will be along the coast, but you have a little bit of a wild card up your sleeve called orographic lifting. And if the winds align just right, and with this moisture coming in, you could set up some very heavy rainfall over northeastern Pennsylvania and northwestern New Jersey that could push into the 3, possibly even 4 inch rainfall range as well. And in a very short period of time because of this enhancement. So the entire Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area, actually the entire northern Mid-Atlantic, aside from maybe northeastern Connecticut, will be under the gun for at least 1 to 3 inches of rain, with locally higher amounts possibly exceeding 4 inches in your very heavy downpours. As you move more north and east, the storm will be less of a focus in, let's say, portions of northeastern Connecticut, where you're more likely to be around an inch of rain. But as you head south and west, everyone from basically central Connecticut on southwest through much of southeastern New York, New Jersey, and eastern Pennsylvania is under the gun for very heavy rainfall and the potential for flash flooding. Here's the latest model guidance using the European model guidance. As, let's be honest, the European model guidance was the first to pick up this potential storm. I didn't really trust it at first, but it looks like it did a very good job with picking up the potential for this storm. And remember, this is what's left over from basically Tropical Storm Karen. It's not Tropical Storm Karen, don't get me, misunderstood here, but the remnants of that storm combined with an upper level feature is what's spawning this little event here. So this afternoon, again, our upper level low is developing. Our low pressure system's lifting up towards the North Carolina coastal waters. Here's our pressure gradient. Clouds are increasing, but the heaviest precipitation and the steady precipitation will stay to the south of the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area, as you can see with the moisture advection here at both levels of the atmosphere at 850 millibars and 700 millibars. By tomorrow, though, different story. Clearly, we have strong moisture advection at all levels of the atmosphere, driving right into the northern Mid-Atlantic. Waves of rainfall can be expected. It's going to be windy, it's going to be raw, it's going to be cool, temperatures in the lower 60s. It's just going to be an ugly day out there on Thursday. And the same situation can be expected on Friday with more rainfall, strong winds from the northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting to 40 miles per hour, especially along the coast at times, and also the potential for coastal flooding. The storm starts to slowly weaken and shift out into the Atlantic on Saturday, but look for more scattered showers to continue to rotate into the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. Not a constant washout all weekend, but a threat of showers and overcast conditions and just a raw easterly to northeasterly wind throughout the weekend for Saturday and Sunday. The good news is that by Monday, hey, we start to dry out a little bit with more of a widely scattered to isolated shower threat. Temperatures still in the lower to mid 60s. And Tuesday, high pressure briefly takes control with scattered cloud cover. Temperatures in the lower to mid 60s. Low temperatures throughout this entire period will basically range from the upper 40s to lower 50s. A few mid 40s will be possible over your northern interior, especially if you get away from some of the steady rainfall. And again, a persistent northerly wind. So, looks like fall's back after we had a little bit of a break with some warmer weather at the start of this month, but that is going to be a distant memory with this storm and with this raw, wet, and just ugly weather conditions over the next several days. Again, if you're along the coast, use some caution, be prepared for some minor to moderate coastal flooding, and if you're driving in this weather, take some extra time. Don't speed because the rainfall will be heavy at times. There will be some moderate to major ponding on the roadways, and visibility is going to be below 2 miles in the heaviest downpours. So use some caution. As always, thank you for watching NYNJPA Weather. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. You can follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and NYNJPA Weather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful day, and as always, stay safe out there.